All right. In the upper left with a brilliant rush that completely disarmed his opponent, we have Squirtle. And in the bottom right, in the blue, hopefully he'll get to the end game so we can exhibition his strong points. He is... Whoa. See, it is different.
What was that? That was different. Why is his different?
Well, I bet it's like that for the other. We'll see when we go to the next round.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess so.
See what happens. But I like that.
All right, so I'm so excited to see what Squirtle wants to do here. Watch him just 4-gate like 3 games in a row. I'm like, okay.
He walks up to round of 8.
Yeah. Looks like it's probably just going to be a forge fast expand with a pylon in the main. It's a solid opener. You know, this map's so big you can kind of do it. Normally you do it on maps with smaller chokes, but on such a large map overall, not a bad choice.
By the weather, by the way, actually speaking of weather, by the way, the weather has actually not been as bad today.
No,
as
it doesn't feel
It's still way too cold.
I wore way warmer clothes today, so I don't know for sure. This might just be in my head.
I'm basically in the same outfit, like, you know, the same jacket, different T-shirt.
Yeah.
Same underpants, you know. But well, it's pretty much...
That means they're extra warm.
they're worn in. No, but God, it was so cold yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty frightening how cold it was.
It was pretty bad.
Well, what do you think this time from Squirtle? 3 base play or 2 base play?
I would think 3 base play, but, you know, it's hard to say. He could. I mean, frankly, actually, no. I'm going to take that back. Let me rework that. I'm going to say he's going to do the Immortal Sentry All-In.
Really?
Because think about this. He's got another map he can use if he if let's say that he loses this. Mm-hmm. So he probably has another more acute build that he can use.
Yeah, Squirtles are cute.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
so yeah, he might do something like that. Just try to do a pretty strong all-in.
I mean, it's never a terrible choice. I don't really like the Immortal all-in as much on this map, but I guess we'll see. I don't know. I think he's going to go 3 base, like a 3 base timing. You know, maybe plus 3 on the way. Maybe one of these greedy creator style ones. Could be a Squirtle special though, because this guy does come up with so many builds.
So well timed that he had the probe that spawned from the Nexus make the cybernetic score.
No, this is what a guy like this does.
Yeah.
You know, I was briefly mentioning before how I feel like it's so strange that Squirtle isn't on a team yet, because this is a guy that I feel like in a lot of ways is more valuable for an actual team than Parting.
Because he's got the build orders, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, Parting and him are 2 different things. Parting is someone who won everything, and you can be like, well, he's the best player in the world, and no one can really argue with that. It's like, well, sure, life is the best person. Shut up. It's one of them, it doesn't matter. He's great in that regard, but, like, one of the reasons why Parting's so damn good is because Squirtle was on his team for so long, because when you have a player like Squirtle on your team, all your Protoss players, and even your Terran and Zerg players, are going to learn so much about Protoss and the way Protoss functions that I feel like this is a crying shame that someone has not snatched him up in about 12 seconds flat. He might be so
expensive, though, too, you know.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
he should be.
That's probably must be, actually. So,
but imagine
he'll be on a team eventually.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyways, we do have a Stargate on the way. I think he's probably going to open up Phoenixes. It could be a Void Ray opener. We have seen those return a little bit. But, you know, with the positioning of it, a Void Ray going to take a little while to get out. And it is actually going to be a Void Ray. But will it be a Void Ray all-in or a Void Ray into Phoenixes and 3 bases?
You know, it could be either. The Void Ray openers are back at style now. We saw these a lot right when Protoss has started fast expanding. Mm-hmm. And they kind of went out of style for a little bit. Now they're back again. I think this is one of these builds for Wings of Liberty that's just all around one of the best PvZ builds you can have.
Yeah,
you know?
And in fact, Tasteless, as you're about to find out this weekend, one of the best builds in Heart of the Swarm as well.
I'm so excited to start playing again.
Yeah.
Guys, we both took a break for a while because they just kept changing the game. I'm like, well, we should probably just focus on Wings of Liberty.
Yeah.
Until it gets closer to the release date. So we're going to be grinding on that a lot.
It's going to be fun.
That's what happens when I think about playing the beta.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna pull a muscle in my stomach if I keep doing that.
Yeah. Hey, well, we do have these two stalkers running away from the Lings. The Void Ray has shown himself. And the Void Ray's killing off an Overlord right now. We can hear it kind of in the background. Couple spores on the way as soon as he sees that Void. And Squirtle looks like he's just going into pretty standard play, throwing up that Robo, getting his extra gates, and this is going to allow him, as he makes sure of exactly how many drones 2 units are being made, of getting his really quick third base as quickly as possible without being too dangerous.
All right. So we got a Void Ray coming out here now. He's going to drive out all the Overlords while the Phoenix does some scouting. And the rest of the Overlords on the map should be picked off pretty easily here. There aren't many left out on the map, and he's going to take a third base.
That's
so
right.
this is a very safe build. If you guys want to copy a build that you use over and over and over again on the ladder, this is definitely one to go with.
Yeah, the one thing that you have to be really good at with this is keeping your scouting going, because this is kind of a creator style build a little bit. You know, he's not made a ton of sentries, and he's going all tech routes at once while taking a third base. So it can be dangerous if you don't realize that they're making a bunch of units, because if they are, you have to switch it up a little bit. But as is, he's doing some good scouting. He sees a lot of Lings going across the map, so he's going to have to be careful, close up all his gaps, and make sure he has enough units to hold on.
All right, the Lings are coming up now, and this is exactly what you want to do with Zerg, is just try to get the probe, try to get any pylons, the Nexus if it's Scorpion in here. And he's forcing out a few force fields, and you know what, the next time the Nexus is going to be made, it's going to be harder for him to cover that.
Yeah. And, you know, he's killed quite a few Lings here. The Lings ended up getting 2 sentries so far. Ooh, 3 sentries. So he has gotten 3 sentries and some Zealots. So the Lings have been somewhat effective because those sentries are so valuable in this early portion of the game, and actually a lot more Lings on the way right now as well. And in fact, he's going to have 1-1, so the Lings are actually going to do quite fine with that 1-1 against just the +1 Zealots.
He might, in fact, even just overrun the third base here. Do we have a cannon over there, Artosis?
He might. Let's take a look-see taste. No cannon yet.
By the way, he nabbed that drone that was going to make the 4th base.
Nice. And here goes Symbol once again. By the way, he does have that Spire finishing up. Will he actually go into Mutas, though? That would be a little bit peculiar. You know, he's shown the Spire. The Spire was seen by those Phoenixes, so that might just be sitting there waiting for Colossi, because that's normally what comes with this build that we're watching.
Yeah, it's also possible that he's just getting the Spire because if they see you getting the Spire, they have to get cannons in their main, and you could just keep playing normally too.
Yeah, that's
some super meta
fair
stuff, but
yeah. And you know, as I was mentioning before, this build looks very much like a build that Creator uses quite a bit, which normally hits with like 3 Colossus and +3 about finishing up, in which case you're going to need that. So he might just be getting ready for that, because that build is somewhat popular.
All right. So it looks like the Lings are going to run back now and just regroup. And the Robotics Bay is on the way. So this is a really ordinary game so far.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. These are the kind of games that you want to study if you want to get better. Because
yeah,
it's what it's supposed to look like if there's 2 good players playing.
It's pretty darn standard, to be honest. These Lings continuing to run in and around, trying to get whatever they can. Not very much for them to get, though, right now. We do have a couple Queens here. Going to take out that Void Ray with ease.
And the Void Ray is not actually useful at this phase of the game. I mean, it's nice. I actually prefer to park it over a watchtower or something.
Sure, yeah. Maybe the edge of creep,
something like
creep
that.
tumors,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I see what he was doing there. He put it at the 4th base to try to gun down a drone. All of those are fine, but beyond that, I mean, it's not really a unit you keep with your army. No. It's not going to be good against Lings, really. I suppose it'd be good against Roaches if he was getting Roaches. Uh-oh, we have a big Zealot here. Now we don't. Excuse me.
Don't worry, he's been taken care of. Don't be too scared.
I was scared, man.
I saw. So we do have +3 on the way, as well as Colossi. A ton of gateways being warped in, and Blink is already done. So Squirtle definitely is hitting that 3-base timing attack. I'm guessing he's actually going to end up moving out with... wow, those were some weird delayed force fields right there. Oh my god, what was that? But
there's actually a lot of Lings.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot more coming up here.
quite
I don't think he should attack in here, but he could deny the fourth base. Then again, I don't think Protoss is going to take the fourth base right away.
He might be focusing on just a massive counterattack as this timing moves out from Squirtle, because you know the army that Squirtle moves out with is going to be very frightening. Anytime before Broodlords, that army is going to be almost anything. And in fact, he's getting ready for that as well, because he's getting Charge and the Templar Archives, which means he will be making a Warp Prism relatively soon as his Colossus production finishes, so he can harass and attack at the same time.
Oh, nice fungal there.
Yeah, very
Now,
well
to be honest, the Phoenixes did do their job. I mean, we're at the phase at point in time where the Phoenixes are no longer they're going to be used for an anti-air.
Yeah. In fact, they killed 17 drones.
Yeah, they got a lot of drones. So losing them, although that's nice for the Zerg, there's no longer a Phoenix menace on the map. He probably wanted to free up that supply anyways.
Yeah. Now, the attack is coming. Tasteless, that Warp Prism on the way, as previously mentioned. +3 is almost done. Charge on the way. This is very Zealot heavy, but he's mixing in a couple of Archons too, and those Archons are going to have the job of killing off Corruptors.
Yep.
And of course, they're good against kind of everything, but that's the big part, because these two Colossi are actually very important.
All right, the Corruptors being forced back now. And we're entering that phase of the game where Symbol starts to hit his stride.
Yeah. And he's doing a giant counterattack with so many Zerglings right now, Tasteless.
All right, does he have anything to warp in here to block? He does, but at the third, does he?
No, this could be brutal. This could be absolutely gross.
Okay, nice block here, though.
Yeah.
And Squirtle's just going to move right in here, actually getting out Infestors.
So well done there. Gets one of them. In fact,
gets up more than one.
Oh, he's gotten 3 so far. The Archon's not able to hit those Corruptors that came in from a great side. In fact, down goes that Colossi.
Yeah,
in the meantime, the third base under attack.
He's actually going to probably hold the third base here. Squirtle's actually taking up most of these spike runs before they even get more than one shot off.
Yeah.
And he saved the third, and this is a complete disaster. As now he has direct access not only to the second base, I should say, but the main base here, where all the tech is. And if he gets that, I mean, it's basically game over, because he's gotten into the heart of the Zerg's base. Zerg's going to have to reset his tech tree.
Yeah, this is so unbelievably rough. He's getting rid of all these upgrades as well. We do have Broodlords morphing, so he may end up holding off this army, but the amount of damage that he's done may hit the critical level during this. In fact, it may have already. He's going to take out basically all the tech here.
Yeah, the Broodlords are coming back, and this is going to be too late. If he gets that hive, man, that's so bad.
Well, the spawning pool's done. He can't even start, another layer even. In the meantime, he's hitting another base over on the side. The game
Squirtle
is
just
basically
made this look
Squirtles.
easy.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to look pretty close, and I was wrong.
You were a bit wrong, I
was
guess.
wrong.
But you know what? Squirtle played just brilliantly here. You know, there were a few problems with Symbol's play. He did make quite a few Corruptors to deal with those Colossi, but he overmade that.
How good Archons are handling Broodlings right now.
Yeah. You know, as funny as it is, he needed a little bit heavier Roach-based army to deal with this. It was so heavily Zealots, it wasn't that many.
Well, it was based off the window that those Lings would force the Protoss to turn around, and Squirtle's like, nope. Look, he's going to target down the hat tree here. We got some transfusions going down. Well, now he's just going to attack.
So many transfusions.
Yeah, he's going to hit whatever.
Yeah, may as well go after the cleans instead.
Cover me.
That's what they sound like.
Yeah, man.
And, I mean, Squirtle's everywhere right now, man. He is just ravaging and pillaging the countryside of Zerg.
Is this the countryside? Are you sure this is not just a rich suburb?
No, look at it. It's waterfront property, but...
Well, you're right. This could be like a Zerg. This might not be a Zerg beach house. It could be like a crummy Zerg lake house.
Yeah, could be a lake house.
In the Ozarks or something.
What do you have against the Ozarks?
I had to go to Lake of the Ozarks all the time as a kid.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Yeah, my neighbor's family had a house down there. Actually, it was a really nice house, but... Yeah, you know, they can't get me out here and I'll just make fun of it. You know?
Okay, fair enough.
So, anyways, we're going ahead. We're continuing to hit hard over here.
Yeah, but look at this, Tasteless. 26 drones.
Well, I mean, there's really not much else to say about this guy. This game's actually done.
26 drones to 69 probes. Even though there's almost no army for Squirtle, if Symbol ever leaves his defensive area, then Squirtle can just hit him somewhere, you know? Like, realistically, Squirtle should just make another Warp Prism right now and just maybe even fly it over the creep and be like, yeah, try to go somewhere, try to attack me.
I honestly, yeah, I mean, he could just keep making stuff and gear up for his. Oh, it's just a mothership. It's okay.
Don't worry, Taste. This is fine. He's making a lot of Archons right now. Can always do a nice big Archon toilet, but to be honest, against the type of army that he's up against, the army is 2 Lings and 8 Broodlords.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. He can basically do whatever he
you
wants.
You can attack move into that with this many Archons.
I think you can attack with your probes, and it would be close, and you'd lose. But you know,
it'd be close, and you lose. But you know, yeah, fair enough. Well, now he's clearing out these extractors. Not a big deal.
Sick analysis from me there.
Yeah. It's like the probes wouldn't quite beat these broods, but you know.
But you know,
he's got 69, so I mean that's quite a few.
It's a lot, you know. Some of those probes would have got around the brood lords, and the queens would have transfused the hatch. So.
Well, Squirtle is moving down the map. Symbol doesn't want to leave. He wants to see if he can win this, and he does have some infestors now. And you know, if you hit like godly fungals, and your opponent can't blink for some reason.
All right, and we're gonna have a vortex.
Maybe you can do something.
He's going to try to...
Does he have enough for Vortex now?
Yep, he does.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty gross. Well, you know what? He can't get anything in there. So this was actually quite a sloppy attack by Squirtle. This is a brilliant defense,
he was
really,
afraid
by
of the Neural,
Symbol.
actually, back there. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was about as good a defense as you could have ever seen with what he had. But...
All right, so we're going to see GG in a moment here as the rest of the Broodlords are taking out. And there it is, GG. As we go on to the next best of 3, Squirtle clearly the dominant player there. There was really no moment where it looked as though Symbol had a chance, man.
Yeah, he smashed through there. I'm really not surprised either that he used a charge lot base timing on this map. It's going to give you so much ground power and force them into more layer-centric tech because it hits before broods with such power that you have to be really careful about any corruptors that you have. You have to be careful if you're trying to go to broodlords too quickly because they'll just run you over. So, not surprised to use that build. It was super effective. It was as if he used Water Gun on a Flame Pokemon, Tasteless.
Yeah, Super Soaker on a Flame Pokemon. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go on to our second best of 3 here in today's GSL Code S.